Hello boys and girls, Andy Rafael from etechnics.com, and here we are with another video unboxing overview. As you know, we've been doing a lot more videos recently, and with that we're sort of doing the aesthetic side sort of in a video. So anything that you want to visually see, or we think that you want to visually see, that's when you'll see us do a video for it. But when it comes to performance, benchmarks, and really getting down to the nitty-gritty, we have the written articles which will be done by someone in the team. So for motherboards and things like that, and VGA, it'll be Chris. For other areas that we're going to start looking at on video, it'll be the likes of Ryan and Peter, and so forth. So without sort of rambling on too much, today's going to be one where we look at a motherboard. So the motherboard sort of side of things has been a little bit quiet recently, with the launch coming up towards Haswell. Now, Haswell is going to be coming out in the near future. Obviously we can't say exactly when because of NDA reasons, but I'm sure a lot of you already know exactly when that's going to be. But sort of around this kind of time, Z77 is still a very strong platform, and what you'll find is a lot of manufacturers will be very interested to sort of keep that momentum going on Z77 until Haswell launches with the new platform that I'm not allowed to say the name of. So what you'll find is this kind of time just before Haswell's about to launch, which obviously that does indicate that it's going to be sometime soon, you'll find that there's going to be a lot of sort of motherboard models coming out that are, the word I'd like to use is rehashes. So when they look at existing models and they see if there's anything they can add. So we saw the likes of that happening with a few boards from Gigabyte, where they added Thunderbolt technology to existing SKUs already. Zeus have had a pretty sort of strong following with their ROG lineup anyway, but we have got something very interesting today from MSI, which is what they've actually done is they've taken their Z77A-GD65 motherboard, which is their top sort of range for Z77, and they've just given it a little bit of a rehash, a refresh, whatever you really want to call it, and they've aimed it a lot more at gamers. And here it is here. So it's the Z77A-GD65 Gaming. Now what they've done is they've used the design for the Z77A-GD65, but they have sort of orientated it towards gamers by adding a killer nick on it. And that's pretty much it, apart from the design side of things, which we will look at in a little bit of detail. But sort of for gamers you expect, I don't know, maybe audio and things like that, but they haven't really done that with this. Instead, it's more the design side of things. Obviously we've seen boards from MSI and their design hasn't, let's say, been the best when it comes to the Big Bang X Power. It had a Gatling gun on it, it had bullets on it, it was complete, in my opinion, complete drivel. It really wasn't a good design, and that's, no offence, but your typical sort of Asian design. Now this board has been actually designed by the European side of MSI, so they haven't sort of taken it to that extreme, but they have done something quite nicely in terms of the dragon that you see on the front of it, and you'll see exactly how that's implemented throughout the actual board itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the box, unbox it, and then sort of go on a quick overview around the board itself, talk about some of the features that it's got and how it really differs from the initial Z77A-GD65 board from MSI. So let's get straight to it and have a look at the MSI Z77A-GD65 gaming motherboard. So guys, we might as well just get straight into it and have a look at the box to start with, and then we can obviously start unpacking it. So the front of the box is actually sort of really nice in my opinion. Nice sort of subtle branding, there's not too much going on. Some of these motherboard boxes you see and you don't really know where to look because there's so much stuff to look at. So straight away we can see this sort of dragon feature on there, which there is a reason behind that. It's part of their gaming G series. It's had a dragon on it. If you've ever seen their notebook products and all-in-ones that are sort of based around gaming. So that all obviously goes and spans across the whole range. So in terms of features, it's recommended by Fnatic, which is a gaming team. Comes with the killer E2200, which is the networking killer NIC. Supports Intel Core processors, and it's a Z77 platform. Other than that, not much else really sort of going on the front. Turn it around though, and we see a few of the features sort of highlighted. So the killer NIC, a little bit about military class free components, how you obviously get top quality and stability. OC Genie 2, a few of the specs and a picture of the rear I/O. Multi-GPU technology, Sound Blaster Cinema, so it has got slightly improved audio, but nothing that we haven't already seen on other sort of non-gaming related motherboards. We've got the Click BIOS too, and a gaming device port as well. And that's pretty much it for sort of, you know, looking at the box. So let's unpack it and see what's inside. First up we get the motherboard, so we're just going to put that to one side so we can talk through the accessories in a little bit of detail first. So what we actually get here is driver utility CD. We've got a fair few Sata cables, so we've got 2 there and 2 here, so we got all of these. They are right angled as well on some of the ends, and they are the lockable sort of clip ones as well. Not too keen on the colour. Normally, like you've seen Asus ones and other brands that are sort of black and white. This is like black and I guess like cream. It's not the nicest colour, but yeah, 4 Sata cables there. Obviously SATA 6 gigabit per second. We got a rear I/O, which is nice with the black and the red sort of writing, and tells you obviously everything that's on there. So the black and red theme sort of continues on the rear I/O. Have a Nvidia Sli Bridge if you are into multi-GPU technology. We've got the V-check cables for checking your voltages on a multimeter. We've also got the, what do they call these ones? M connectors. Other brands are called Q connectors. There's loads of different names, but these are for your power LED and hard drive LED, power button, power reset switch, and so forth. Quick installation guide, which folds out and has information in many different languages. Also have a user guide, which that is in just English by the looks of it. Yep. So that goes through absolutely everything, installing, the specs, everything else. Software and application user guide. So this will talk through some of the bundled software, including sort of monitoring software, the control panel for the killer NIC. We also have a little thing to hang on your door saying "I'm sorry, busy gaming." We've seen this quite a lot with loads of different brands. I think the first one I ever saw this with was XFX with their graphics cards, but it's a novel little feature. So there you go. It's even got a little QR code that you can scan on there as well. And lastly, we get this case badge sticker, which is a bit like a sort of shield, I guess. Gaming G series MSI. It's not bad quality, but not the best. But yeah, overall, a nice little sort of bundle that you get there with this motherboard. So, motherboard wise, anti-static bag, of course. And if we put this down, and I can pull this camcorder off the tripod, we can obviously go in a little bit more detail and have a little look a little bit closer at everything. So, full-size ATX form factor on this motherboard. Black PCB, which we've seen quite a lot from loads of different brands. It's nice to see everyone sort of adopting this instead of the horrible old browny, greeny sort of PCB. So nice black colour scheme with red on it. Here's the dragon again on the heatsink. So sort of talking, I guess, starting with the heatsinks, we've got this one up here, which this is pretty cool. I'm going to show you this. See if you can spot that. It's a little dragon. So you can actually see they've made the heatsink in such a way that there's a little dragon on there, which is pretty cool, to be honest, in my opinion. So that's nice. Black and red colour scheme. Heat pipe underneath, going around to this one, which once again, focus isn't great on this camcorder, but hopefully you can see that. So yeah, nice little dragon there. Looks like he's got that sort of cool hair that whips up. There you go. So yeah, black and red colour scheme. Heat pipe going along, which joins these two, obviously cooling your VRMs. We've got the socket itself, nothing sort of new there, 1155 socket. So Ivy Bridge processors can go in here, Sandy Bridge, and so forth. Memory, we got 4 slots, DDR3. Guessing this can go, you know, this will be able to go as far as you want to push it. So recommended is going to be sort of 1866 or 2133, but obviously you can push it further through overclocking. It's probably going to take, I'm guessing, 32 gig of memory in total, but for a gamer, sort of, you know, 8 to 16 gig is still perfectly adequate. In terms of overclocking, we have got the OC Genie 2 button here, power and reset buttons as well. We've got a couple of headers up here, so we've got a system fan header there. Moving around, got another fan header here for the CPU. 8-pin power connector over here. And moving back round, we've got the V checkpoints, if you want to check all your voltages if overclocking. 24-pin ATX power connector. System fan header. We've got USB 3.0 sort of on the side, which is nice to see. The amount of times you see them and they're sort of vertical, and it means you have to sort of put the cable in and then sort of bring it over to go underneath, and it's just a bit horrible. It's nice to see on the side like this, so you can just plug it in and sort of, you know, cable route and cable management in regards to the because it's quite a thick cable, USB 3.0. So it is nice to see that. SATA, we have SATA 6 gig. So in total we've got 2, 4, 6, 8 SATA ports, and I'm going to open up the trusty user guide to see what's what. So we've got 8 SATA ports in total. 4 of them are SATA 6 and 4 of them are SATA 3. So SATA port 1 and 2, which is these two here, they're actually run by the Intel Z77 chipset, and they're SATA 6 gig per second. And then SATA 7 and 8, which is these two here, they're run by the ASMedia ASM 1061 controller, and they're SATA 6 gig per second as well, hence why they look a little bit different. So if you look at this port and this stack of ports, this one and this one, you can see that these are very, very similar looking, and these are very similar looking. And then obviously, yeah, these middle ones are SATA 3 gig per second, and they're run by the Intel Z77 chipset. In terms of RAID, SATA ports 1 to 6, which is obviously all the ones run on the Intel chipset. That can be used in AHCI, RAID 0, 1, 5 and 10, and that's all thanks to the Z77 chipset. Moving down, if I move that out of the way, we've got front panel USB, USB, USB. We've got a multi-BIOS switch here, and we've got the debug LED as well. We've got Firewire. Why oh why we have Firewire? I'm not a big fan of Firewire. I don't believe that anyone uses it in this day and age, so I think it's a bit of a redundant feature. We've got your power LED, hard drive LED, reset and power switch, and then we've got speaker and other LED headers as well. Some more there. We've got system fan headers, front panel audio, and then up here you can see Sound Blaster Cinema and Killer E2 2200 logos. And that's pretty much it for sort of this area. Another system fan header there. Name of the board, Z77A-GD65 Gaming. SLI and Crossfire X support. We've got the CMOS battery here as well. Now, PCI Express, we have got lots of different ports. So we've got, starting at the top, PCI Express X1. We've got an X16 physical, and it is X16 as well. Another X1 and another one. We've got another X16 slot, which you can see the pins go all the way to the end. So physical, and actually works at X16. X1 and another X16 as well. So it supports ATI Crossfire, as they put. On here they've got AMD Crossfire X, but in the guide it says ATI Crossfire. Nvidia Sli, and it has got Virtu MVP technology as well from Lucid. As you can see, we've got displays around the back, so you can work this in conjunction with that. So looking at the actual slots themselves, just going to have a quick look. So yeah, basically, if you're going to be running multiple cards, you're going to find that obviously they're not all going to run at X16. So top one's going to run at X16. If you run 2 cards with that one and that one, that's most likely going to drop down to X8. Then if you're running 3, so it'll be that one at X16. Sorry, that one will be X8, X8, and X4. It's just typical the way it's done with Intel Z77 chipsets. But some boards have got another chipset under here, which will obviously give you extra bandwidth to your PCI Express lanes. Speaking about that heatsink, you can see the black and red dragon design on there, which is quite nice, and it's pretty low profile as well, so you can see how low profile that is. And last but not least, we have the rear I/O. So let me just take this back off. So the rear I/O, if I move the board up there, we can see we've got a variety of different ports. So we've got a PS2 mouse and keyboard combo port up here. We've got 2 USB 2.0s, coaxial audio, optical audio. We've also got a switch here. If you can see that tiny little switch, by the looks of it, that's going to be a reset CMOS switch. We've seen it on many other boards before. We've got 2 USB 2.0 ports here. Take this little bung out. You can see that we've got HDMI, 2 USB 3.0 ports, which is going to be run by the Intel Z77 controller, gigabit LAN. Take these off, you can see that we've got VGA, DVI, and then we've got our 6 audio jack ports as well, 3.5mm audio jack ports. So overall, a nice sort of feature set. There's not too much difference with the GD65 and the GD65 gaming, apart from the colour scheme and the inclusion of the killer NIC on the LAN port. Would have been nice to see a few more USB 3.0 ports, and probably would have been nice to maybe ditch the VGA connector and have DisplayPort. But other than that, pretty sort of solid in terms of features. I like the design as well, which is really nice, with the black and red colour scheme, the black PCB, the Dragon, no Gatling gun and things like that. So you can tell that MSI have obviously learnt from their mistakes, and they seem to be moving forward quite nicely. So there you go, boys and girls. Hopefully that's given you a bit of an insight into the MSI Z77A-GD65 gaming motherboard. There is a review live at the moment, including all the benchmark figures and performance, high resolution photos and so forth. So be sure to check that out on etechnics.com. Until next time, see you later. Bye!